In a quiet Ohio town, 5 teenagers thought they'd found the ultimate dark tunnel beneath Elm Street rumored to stretch for miles. But what they discovered wasn't graffiti or rats. It was a hidden laboratory, humming with power, and filled with whispers of something still alive. The deeper they went, the stranger it became. Walls that pulsed like veins, lights that flickered with heartbeats, and doors that locked themselves. What started as a harmless thrill turned into a desperate fight to escape something that was still experimenting on them. Because beneath Elm Street, the town's darkest secret wasn't buried, it was breathing. If you've ever heard a low hum under your neighborhood streets, don't follow it. Some tunnels should stay closed forever. It started as a dare. Every kid in the small Ohio town had heard about the storm drain beneath Elm Street, a long, narrow tunnel that led under the old industrial district. No one had ever reached the end. That Friday night, 5 friends decided to try. Mason, the bold one, led the group with a flashlight. Behind him were Kayla, his curious girlfriend, Jeremy, the skeptic, Dylan, the joker, and Lacey, who hated the dark but didn't want to look scared. They pried open the rusted grate and climbed down into the drain. The air was damp and heavy, carrying the sour smell of rot and metal. "Smells like death down here," Dylan muttered, but his laugh was weak. As they walked, the tunnel widened. The floor changed from concrete to metal plating. Pipes ran along the ceiling, dripping with black water. Then Kayla noticed something strange, faint light pulsing from ahead, like a heartbeat. "Probably some old power line," Jeremy said. But the light wasn't steady, it throbbed, glowing red, then fading, like it was alive. When they turned a corner, they found a metal door half covered in rust. A yellow sign above it read, "Restricted Area Property of Elm Research Division." "What research division?" Mason frowned. "That building shut down 30 years ago." Still, the door was slightly open, and curiosity won. They squeezed through and entered a hallway that didn't belong underground. The walls were smooth, lined with broken computer screens and cracked lab glass. The air smelled of ozone and something burnt. Kayla brushed her hand along the wall. It was warm, pulsing faintly. "This isn't a sewer," she whispered. "It's some kind of lab." They reached a large chamber filled with rusted tables, metal restraints, and shattered tubes. Inside one broken cylinder was something black and wet, shaped almost like a person. Lacey stepped closer. "It's moving." Before anyone could react, the lights flickered, and a low hum filled the air. The computer screens blinked to life, lines of green code scrolling faster and faster. A mechanical voice echoed, "Experiment 47 containment breach detected. Reinitializing sequence." The doors slammed shut. Jeremy ran to the control panel, hitting buttons that did nothing. Mason kicked the door, yelling, then they all froze. From behind one of the glass partitions came a scraping sound, low, deliberate. Something was crawling out of the shadows. It was tall, human-like but wrong. Its skin was stretched, gray and veiny, eyes glowing faint red. Tubes still dangled from its arms like veins that hadn't detached. It tilted its head at them, almost curious. Lacey screamed. The creature moved fast, slamming into the wall, denting metal. Mason grabbed a rusted pipe and swung. It hit the thing's shoulder. It didn't even flinch. "Run," Kayla shouted. They sprinted down the corridor, past more rooms filled with ruined experiments. The light strobed violently now. Somewhere behind them, the creature's footsteps echoed, wet, heavy, relentless. They turned left, right, then down another corridor. At the end was an elevator with a flickering green button. Mason hit it, nothing. Dylan smashed the panel with his fist. Sparks flying, the doors creaked open. They piled inside and hid up. The elevator groaned, rising painfully slow. Then came a thud from above. The roof dented inward. Another thud. The creature was climbing the shaft. "Faster," Kayla cried. The lights inside the elevator went out. For a moment, there was total darkness. Then the roof tore open, and a pale arm reached down. Mason swung the pipe again, hitting the arm with a metallic crack. The creature shrieked, retreating just as the doors opened. They stumbled out into what looked like an office: dusty desks, rotted papers, and a single glowing monitor. On it flashed a single phrase: "Experiment 47 must not leave containment." The message repeated over and over. Then, on the screen, a security feed popped up, 5 camera angles, showing them in real time. The camera zoomed closer on Mason, then Kayla, then the creature behind them. They turned. It was already inside the room. Dylan grabbed a chair and threw it. Mason yelled for everyone to run. Jeremy tripped. Kayla pulled him up. They dashed down another hallway lined with more doors, labeled with numbers: 12, 23, 47. Kayla froze at 47. The door was wide open. Inside was a pod, still filled with mist, and next to it, a plaque, Human Adaptation Prototype, Phase 3, Cognitive Replication. Replication, Kayla whispered. It copies us. Behind her, Mason shouted, Kayla, run. She turned too late. The creature lunged, slamming her against the wall. For a split second, its face changed. It looked like her. Then it screamed. Mason hit it again and again until it stopped moving. But when he looked back, Kayla was gone. Just the sound of her voice whispered in the air, keep going. Mason dragged Jeremy and Dylan toward the exit ladder. The tunnel above was narrow, but daylight shimmered faintly. He climbed first, bursting through the surface into an empty field. They were out, or so they thought. Dylan collapsed, gasping. Where's Kayla? Mason looked back into the hole. It was silent. Then her hand appeared, gripping the ladder. Relief flooded his face. Kayla, but when she climbed out, her skin was too pale, her smile too wide, and her shadow moved a second slower than her body. Mason stepped back. You're not. She tilted her head. You left me down there. Her eyes turned red. By the time the police arrived hours later, they found only 2 shaken teens. The hole under Elm Street was sealed off by authorities within days. But every so often, locals still hear a low hum rising from underground. And sometimes, when the fog rolls in, a pale girl with red eyes stands at the edge of Elm Street, whispering for someone to come back.